Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing well. No, can they all hear me? They can all hear me. Can all hear me? We're doing our
Yes.
yay. Well, I've got my dogs here. This is awesome. So our community has set this up, and we're just gonna do some Q&As. We're gonna answer some questions. We're gonna do it this way, see how it goes, see if this is something we want to do in the future more, and keep doing it. So loud and clear. You can hear me loud and clear. Good. So
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be a way for us to get the community involved with things outside just the gaming, and yeah, should be good. Well, I guess I'll start it off if you want. Our first question we have submitted was from Barbarossa, and they were asking, was there a scene in Starship Troopers that was way harder to pull off than it looked, and what made it so tricky?
wow, that's a great question, Barbarossa. There was a lot of things in Starship Troopers that were difficult. Sometimes, it's the physical aspect that was challenging and difficult. Like riding the tanker bug was physically a super intense role. Physically, it was for me. I rode that for 3.5 days, never under a 14-hour day. There's other people out there. I'm on top of a like almost an upside down hull of a boat. We could probably put that in a picture in here somewhere, or if we ever cut it to a video or something like that, we could probably do something like that maybe. But there's pictures of it where you can see the actual. It's like just a like the back of the bug, and it's up on a Caterpillar truck on a gimbal, so it'd go around like this and then moving forward and around in circles. 25 feet up in the air I was with two ropes tied onto me, and they hand me a live weapon. This is after I jump off a 35-foot mountain, which I did onto a platform with stunt guys around me. But that's all separate
I
takes,
was
and then
about to ask, were
they
they
all
offering you a stunt double?
they did. They had a great stunt double, and he did all the flips, the flip 6-3 hole in the football game, and in the and then the other one were good. I think I was supposed to jump off the mountain, do the flip 6-3 hole in that, but they weren't going to do that. They ended up not doing that because they just thought that was crazy. But it would have been cool. I think that's where they should have done it. And it was pretty intense. It was something that they handed me this weapon, and it's a Marine rifle, and you guys all know what's in it. And underneath was a shotgun. They go, it's fully loaded. It's all blanks, but still that could kill you. He goes, don't land on it. So they have the wires there to protect me, to keep me from falling, but they only, from falling the whole way. But I'd still fall down like 5 feet. And the first take, I'm rolling, going like this, and it caught me and pulled me, and I uh, don't fall on gun. So I put it above my head, and I fell on my face so hard it chipped these two teeth right here and one down here a little bit. So I had three chipped teeth in it, and
Wow.
I rang my bell so hard I couldn't hear anybody. I didn't know what they were saying. They asked me some questions, and I go, yeah, I could totally do another one, and and then the next take, I go, remember, do not fall on face. They hand me the loaded weapon, gave me the same spiel, and this time I took the butt of the gun because I got caught again, and the wires pulled me down, and I put the butt of the gun right here, and I landed on it, and blood came out of my mouth and hit the camera. And the camera guy goes, "I didn't know you had blood, one of those blood pellets with the blood in it, one of the pellets with the blood in it." And I go, "I didn't." It was either from ringing my bell the first time or cracking my ribs, which I did crack my ribs. I cracked 3 ribs, and I took my first ice baths for 3 nights. It was horrible, but it was a lot of fun. I wouldn't change it. I never told anybody. I wasn't telling people all the time because I didn't want to get replaced. Yeah. So physically, that would be the most challenging one. Emotionally, there's other ones, and for the humor, sense of humor, there's probably sometimes I'd be like, Paul, I don't know. No, this is great. Trust me, and I would have to be like, it's Paul Verhoeven, and he knows what he's talking about. But I was like thinking, this is not subtle at all, and he was saying it was.
Right. Excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah. Viper can go ahead with the next one.
Did you introduce yourself?
Yeah. So yeah, Cheechbongered.
She's just a big part of our community, and so is Viper. and
Yes.
they're the two parts of this. So they're going to be asking questions. So if you hear their voice, that's who you're getting in. And the people that play with us, they know who they are. They know who we're playing with. But it's just something we're trying out for the first time. A little. They wanted to do a showing with Starship and a little Q&A, and you guys filled out a lot of Q&A things. So Viper's going to ask the next one supposedly. Cheechbongered got to ask the first one.
We'll see.
If he does it, we'll go back to Cheechbongered. Viper is having a mic
Um,
issue right now, so yeah.
all right, so our next question comes from Blackjack Sass, and they're asking, did you think Starship Troopers would be as big as it currently is when you agreed to do the film?
Blackjack Sash, great question. Blackjack's another person that plays with us. She's a wonderful streamer too. So thank you for the question. It's a great question. I thought it was going to be bigger than it was at the time. I was surprised that people didn't understand the sense of humor. But the fact that it still has legs today, we're still talking about it, video games are still being made about it, or other games are being created because of it, like Helldivers 2, or even Halo, or all the different games that were similar, Gears of War, that were similar to Starship Troopers or Starship Troopers esque, all created because of this movie off of a book that was written in 1958 or 59. I can't remember which year it was, one of those. I'm
Pretty far back there, yeah.
pretty far back there. Written by Robert Heinlein, a great writer, very talented writer. I was surprised it wasn't a bigger success at the time. I was actually shocked. I just thought it was a far superior film than the recognition it was getting. And I didn't think that would because of me. I just thought, my God, this looks amazing. This is incredible. I mean, his satire, sense of humor. He's just an incredible filmmaker. Paul Verhoeven, that is, and Ed Newmeyer who wrote it, and all the people that were involved with it. I mean, there was just so many different levels to it. So I'm so happy that it still has legs and people come in and like we're playing video games with it now that I did a voiceover for it. We're talking about it still. People come to cons for it. So I'm really happy about it. But I did think it would be bigger back in the day. But maybe because of what it was and that it missed, people didn't understand it so much. Maybe that's why it has legs to this day and that it's still something we talk about. There's a lot of other movies from 30 years ago that we don't really talk about as much. But I mean, I went to the dentist today and one of the guys recognized me and the other person knew me. And, it was interesting. So it's almost a daily thing for me of a movie 30 years ago. Not bad.
All right, testing, testing. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now,
Yes.
Viper.
Oh,
Hear you,
thank
Viper.
heavens. I have no idea what happened there. Oh,
You got
sorry about
shy on
that.
us.
I know, I kind of got nervous there. Oh, sorry about that.
We were gonna have
Ah,
to
that's
have
excellent.
we were gonna have to have Captain Miller coming in here and replace you and give us a little bit of you know, the description of Starship Troopers Terran Command in your absence, but we decided not
Full
to.
on.
Oh, a
we were
full
just
full hour.
we were just discussing Blackjack Sass question and basically about how the movie was ahead of its time.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Speaking of Blackjack Sass, I wanted to go forward onto the scenes. And what was your favorite scene? Because both her and Pyrokite asked the same question: what your favorite scene to work on, and what made it your favorite scene?
That was a popular question, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of favorite scenes, and sometimes they, my baby, my dog. Sometimes they change for me depending on I don't know the mood I was in or whatnot. But there's so many different ones I have that were my favorite one. But probably, and there's quite a few profound ones. There's behind the scenes days and there's on the set days and just all the so many different things that I could describe that were going on. But I would say there's one day where it's the drop ships. All the drop ships are landed and we're going in for the big battle. And the Klendathu drop, and everybody's coming out. The drop ships are there, and we could see the bottom of them. The top was all CGI put in later. Some of the explosions were real, some were added in later too. And we have 1,600 extras running around, physical people running around in uniforms, all carrying rubber weapons, 30 actors with live weapons carrying those around, and 30 stuntmen with live weapons. Live, but blanks, but some quarter, some half, some three quarter, and some full. I always had full loads. It's just what they did for me because they just, they were trying to make it look like, I don't know, bigger, better, whatever it is.
Gotta
So
keep the general loaded up.
yeah, you
Also, you
get
get
here.
the weight of the gun when you're on front of the camera. I would assume it just gives you the more look that you're actually hauling the gun.
Yeah, it was interesting because we did do an actual we did fire live ammunition for a test to get the actors to see, because it was interesting. A lot of actors had never fired guns before, so and they weren't getting the kick that you have when and so it was interesting because we had Roccalati, who was our weapons expert, a Marine, and Captain Dale Dye, a Marine from. Who was our military coordinator? So we had a lot of Marines on this. We had Army guys, Navy guys. We had a whole bunch of Air Force. We had the gambit, but Roccalati was going over that, so they did they worked with the local authorities, and they got a like a firing range out in Hell's Half Acre where we all fired live ammunition just so they could see what the kick was, and it was quite fun for me to watch the actors who had never fired a gun. Growing up in a military family, firing weapons, growing up shooting. I did fire a lot of different weapons before, so I had experience with that. We even had an armory at my military school. So, but it's just, there's a difference between firing a live bullet and a blank. Now, a blank
Oh
can
yeah, there's a
still,
big difference.
yes, and a blank still can kill you. I mean, you put a blank up to, 6 inches away from something, and it can blow a can apart. It can,
Hmm.
it's just not something you don't want to, you can still kill somebody with a blank, because it's still gunpowder, and if there's anything in there and anything gets projected out, it's still, that's like your bullet then. So you have to be very careful. That's why weapons are so important to keep them clean and everything. But I would say that would be one of the most profound days, because I'm looking out with, the 285 crew, the 138 second unit crew, all the extra people they brought in, all these extras, the 1,600 extras, the stunt guys, the actors, and everything. And I look behind the camera, and it's nighttime, and it's incredible. Just the scope of it was amazing, and the location in Hell's Half Acre, right outside of Casper, Wyoming. The scope of it, looking over, and then behind the camera, seeing the director of RoboCop, the writer of RoboCop, the producer of RoboCop, and the visual effects guy of RoboCop. That's Phil Tippett. The producer is John Davison. Ed Newmeyer, the writer, and somebody's mic is hot miking. And then
Viper.
and then the
Sorry, I fixed it.
and then and the director. You're looking at that, and you're going, "Oh my God!" Well, Peter Weller's number one on his call sheet, and I'm number one on this one, so I'm Murphy. I felt like I was, I felt like I was RoboCop. It was just a
That's
really
awesome.
amazing day, and I've
That
got to
is
remember
amazing.
this moment.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a grandeur scene, man. That just made the whole like atmosphere for the movie is just the whole everybody coming off the drop shifts. It's like huge. It just made the whole universe just like holy crap, this is a big giant war.
Yeah, and when
Right.
Basil Palladores did he was the composer for the movie, did all the music for it. When he wrote the Clendatha drop for it and everything, which is still used on a lot of the music that I put up on a lot on my Instagram things for things. Your mic is still going, bro. It is so it's so powerful. It's just something that it just he was such a great composer, and he was a great loss when we lost him. So
Yeah, that it's such an iconic composure. Like, as soon as you hear it, you're just like, "Yep."
yeah, Sith Bubba just put in the chat. He just said Breckenridge knows you guys were using live fire. It's so funny that scene where Breckenridge gets his head blown off. I'm just gonna mention this right now, right off of there. I'm just going to the chat here for a second.
No
Um,
worries. Yeah, that's fine. Go for it.
he married that girl that shot him in the head in real life. They got married. So
Oh, no way.
Oh wow, that's nice.
she really blew his mind.
that's that's good. That's amazing though. That's like so he got to meet his wife on set and all that. That's pretty cool.
She blew his mind. She blew his head right off. She's like, "Oh, I gotta marry this one."
Speaking of Twitch questions, and you mentioned that that was something you wanted to like soak in and remember earlier. We had a question from It's Kenko, and they say, "Do you remember your first thoughts after you read the entire script of the first movie?
Yeah,
Like, how?"
yeah. I was like, "Holy shit!" Because I read the book when I was 12, and I was like, how did I understand this sense of humor when I was 12? How did I get this? Man, I'm not as dumb as I thought I was. And I went back and reread the book, and I went, oh, I am as dumb as I thought I was because it's not in the book. The sense of humor, the satire is all in the script only. That's Ed Neumeyer and Paul Verhoeven. The book is straightforward. There is no
100%. I'm about halfway through it, and yeah, I can
Oh, the
attest to
book is so good though. The book is really good, but
the book.
it's like completely night and day.
Yeah, the book is amazing, and some people said, people are going to be really upset with Starship Troopers, and they're not going to like it. And some people that were big fans of the book didn't like it, but they're like, "Yeah, you're going to insult the military with this," and I go, "You are so off base. The military,
100%.
they all have some of the best sense of humor, and they have to because of the things that they do, they've gone through, and everything they've had to go through. So they actually love the movie because they have dark, sick senses of humor, perverse sense of humor, wonderful, delicious sense of humor, because that's the best way to get through some things in life. And if you can't make fun of something, then why the hell are you doing it? So satire, the sense of humor, and the things that gets people talking, I think that's some of the brilliance of the filmmaking of Starship Troopers, the movie. And I think the movie and the book are both great on their own, and compared to each other and together, it's still pretty fucking cool too. I love both of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I could personally attest to that, being that I joined the Marine Corps like not long after I seen the movie. It was just like, and like all the people that I knew while it was in, we all had a treasure for this movie just because, and it wasn't necessarily because of the movie itself. It was the camaraderie to the movie and like the leadership roles to the movie. It just all of it brought all of us together with the satire, and it just made it extra funny as well. It was beautiful. It was like a magical film that it's hard to kind of get that magic again.
Yeah, it is.
100%.
It is a movie that a lot of people are afraid to make, and they didn't want to make it. They kept challenging Paul, and they kept trying to get it, but he had total control. So much so that every single person, all the other producers, all the studio execs from Sony and Disney, all wanted it to be a PG-13 movie so that they could, because they wanted toys for this. And Paul's like, no. And they got it so that he can cut down. If he cut out, I think it was a minute and 30 seconds, something like that, it would have been a PG-13 movie, which would have been some of the dead bodies, the two heads getting lopped off by the bugs, and some of the
The
nudity.
shower scene.
Yeah, some of the nudity. It's not the whole thing, but some of it. And then also when the girl is getting pulled down into the one that's like, I want to have babies. When she's getting
Oh
pulled
yeah.
down, and they thought that it was like the bug was going to rape her, and they thought that's what it looked
Oh.
like. So that was something that they came up, and Paul was like, "But fine, whatever you think. I'm not cutting it." So so he's like, nope, and so like, and everybody like, did you try to, they even asked me to go talk to him, see if I could talk to him. And I said, so Paul, they asked me to ask you because I knew they would. I'm not doing it. And I'm like,
They thought you had his ear. Which is a
I
beautiful
knew
trait.
he was not going to do it already. I already knew, but I said, hey, they're telling me, I'm just going to tell you right off the bat. I'm not going to try to come in sneakily, because they were like, just don't tell him that we're asking you to tell him. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not. He's way smarter than me. I'm not going to try to pull that card. I'm not going to be deceitful. I've done deceitful things in my life before. I'm not very good at it. I don't like it, and you have to end up making amends. So I try not to do that at all anymore, because it's just pointless. And it's much more work that way. So better to go in mostly honest.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, that's. I got another question for you. A couple people had asked,
Yes, Marine.
but specifically, Niner fan 82 wanted to know which actor or actress did you enjoy working with the most, and why is it Clancy Brown?
I love Clancy Brown. So, Clancy is an
100%.
icon. Michael Ironside and Clancy probably would be two of my favorites if I was to pick, but I don't think the whole movie works without the way everybody is in it. People sometimes they badmouth on Denise Richards or something like that. They say it's our girl's Dizzy. Well, if Denise didn't play so well the way she played it, because she's such a sweet person in life, if she didn't play it the way she did, people wouldn't have hated her so much, and then want me to be with Dizzy so much, and that's what makes it so great. So people,
Oh, for sure.
they
For
get
sure.
bad on her about it. But if she didn't play it that way, if she hadn't gone and done it that way, people wouldn't have rooted as much for Dizzy, and then Dizzy wouldn't have been that beloved of a character. So you have to have those people play those characters that way. It's a thin line. It's a hard line to walk, and sometimes it's difficult. And then sometimes the backlash from fans will be, great. I've always felt bad for her when she would get um, picked on for that role, because I would always be like, man, she played that role perfect. She broke Johnny's heart, and everybody's like, I hate her for what she did. He should have been with Dizzy. Well, if she had been amazing in any way, shape, or form, then some people would be like, yeah, maybe she would have been a good choice. Maybe. But she wasn't the way she played it, I think, so perfect. So, it's all the characters that way. But Clancy Brown, of course, I love him. And I got to see him in New York Comic Con. I said to him, hey, I know you're up here with Penguin, but would you want to come to the Starship Troopers panel or anything like that? He goes, I can't, man. I'm too busy. And then during the Comic Con panel, we were up there with me, Denise Richards, Dina Meyer, and Seth Gilliam. And all of a sudden they go, we have a special guest for you. And they're like, Clancy comes out, and we're like 10 minutes into the panel. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, you did this. And I'm like, no, you did it. He goes, yeah, they said it would be too cool, so they let me come, the Penguin people. So I'm grateful for the Penguin people for letting Clancy come and be a part of the panel. So I love him. But I'm also going to say, out of all those people, you're all right. They're all great. And Michael, I still hear his voice. Clancy, just a gem of a guy, big bear of a man. Wouldn't want to fuck with either of those guys because I think they'd kill me. Seth Gilliam is one of my favorite people in the whole world. I love Jake. I love Pat. I love Denise. I love Dina. But Rue McClanahan, I was like, oh my God, it's Golden Girl. And Neil Patrick Harris, of course. I mean, he's just funniest, one of the funniest guys ever. But Rue McClanahan was on that set, and she was my teacher. And I was like, oh my God, it's a Golden Girl. And she was so focused and in character, she wouldn't break. And it was the best day in my life because it was Rue McClanahan. And I was like, oh my God, it's Rue McClanahan. And she had the eyes like this, and she's like, yeah, Bug said this. And I was like, oh.
Oh, for sure.
So,
Rewatching it, I was like, she looks familiar. Why does she look so familiar to me?
yeah.
And now
So,
it makes sense.
yeah, but so for me, I'm just like, and I'm not even like, it's like, I love the Golden Girls. I do. Not going to say, but I'm not like, I'm Golden Girls in or anything like that, like some people are. I am. I do like the show. I think it's funny. It's great and I think that, but, some people are fanatic. But just seeing her, iconic as she was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's definitely legendary. Yeah, there's a whole cast of legendary actors
Oh,
in their
yeah.
early prime. It's just shocking. It's like if you name all these actors that've been in the same movie together, it's like, holy cow, this is a stacked show.
It was fun. I mean, it was just fun. It's just fun. All the different people in it, and the friendships that have lasted this long because of it. I'm grateful for it.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
You got another one for us, Cheech?
Of course. Got plenty. So next up we got from Robbie Kane 85, and they ask, ever since Starship Troopers Extermination launched, do you feel like the fandom has increased, helping grab the attention and curiosity of people who weren't born when the first movie released?
So yes, Robbie Keenan, which is Nat, of course. I think that's a great question. I do think that having games like this help. I mean, there's a lot of different games that have it came on. I really, when I first saw this movie come out, and I was in the theater at Sony watching it before it was released. They gave us a pre-screening, and I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be huge. You guys need to make a video game out of this. And they're like, we make movies, not video games. And I was like showing a nerd card back then, but I just thought, man, this would be the coolest video game. And then Halo came out, and I was like, see, I told you guys. And then I was like, I was like trying to, there were so many different things that came out that I kept going and being like, see. And then
They have the technology.
they do, but now that they do it the way they have it with the Carnage, and I like that it's a 16-person shooter. I mean, there's a lot of other games that are really great, and I haven't played Helldivers 2, but people talk about that one. That's a 4-person shooter, and I think that's really cool because it's like Starship Troopers, and got a lot of people doing quotes from the movie and everything, and it's over the top satire, and I think that's all great and awesome. But I really love like Starship Troopers, even the community that we play with, that I get to play with, that we're doing this interview with. It just feels like it what it is. We don't leave anybody behind. We try to get everybody out. We're all working together. We're all cheering each other on. We're all working with each other. That's what we were doing on set. That's what we're doing, and that's what I believe the real military people do. They pull for each other. They don't care what anybody is. They don't care if they're Democrat, Republican, gay, straight, whatever it is. You got my back, I got your back. Let's get out of here. Let's do this, whatever. If you were,
Exactly,
it's whatever you got to do to survive. You need each person, and it's your job, your responsibility, whatever it is. It doesn't matter your race. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't care. It's just about the camaraderie. And so we take the politics out of it, which is the funny part of the movie. But you take the politics out of it, you just play the game. In the movie, my character is definitely a guy that was probably used by the politicians, whatever, as everybody in there is. They're pawn pieces, but still they care about each other. These pawns all care about each other. They become nice, they become kings and queens or whatever in their own rights. But they're still being used by a hierarchy that really is just a numbers game, which is what Neil Patrick Harris talks about. And the numbers game is true. It's whatever these people, however's going to pad their pockets, because it doesn't matter which one's in. They're never helping us out anyhow. And so it's all of us working together. We're all family. We're all part of this. This was kind of like the game is for me. It's awesome. So whatever they're putting us in there, when they put us in a mess and we're going to get destroyed and killed, we all have each other's back anyhow. We're still there for each other. So that's what I like about the game. That's what I liked about the people I know in the military. All the people I've grown up with in the military, and I grew up with in a military family. Everybody in my every male in my family served, except for me and one uncle. And I'm around all of this, so I'm seeing how they work. And then going to a military school and being around it, and just being around that work ethic. It's why I can afford to be an actor and be in this and still be able to play it like that. And very meticulous about everything we did, and I've been grateful for that, and I've carried that through to every military role I do. Even if we don't have the correct people, I still try to do it myself to the best of my knowledge and ability. And if I ever get confused, I'd always call it my dad, and I'd be like, Dad, do you ever say 600 if you're in the Navy? He goes, there's no numbers in the alphabet. there's no letters in the numeric alphabet. That's what he said. And I was like, and I put that out to the guy. I was like, Dad, my dad's Navy, and you're having me play a Navy pilot. This is what my dad is, and you're trying to get me to say 0600 when I know it. I mean, you're trying to get me to say 0600 when I know it's 0600. I go, I look at. He goes, well, my dad wrote The Great Santini, and I'm like, a great one, but it was wrong when he said it. Sorry. I gotta argue. I already know this because I watched the movies in military school. I listened to they go, well, this is why that was incorrect. Still great movie. We love it. The military people love it. They do love it. They don't make fun of it, but they do to each other. They go, still not correct. That's not what we would have done. We would have said 0. And I'm always like, well, I ain't gonna fuck that shit up. And I know now they probably are more loose with it because of movies. So I believe people are more, but back in the day when you're playing something from back when it was done, you should portray it the way it was done at that time, in my opinion. Unless, of course, you're trying to make it more appropriate for the time period now. But I still think if you can do it as authentic as you can to the time period, if that's what you're going for, that's it. But it's always up to the filmmaker themselves. But as a character in this, I wasn't going to give it, and I've pissed people off with that too, with being a stickler for that. I'm also even when I did Starship Troopers 3, when I saw everybody put the uniforms on, I went in. I'm down in Africa now. They shipped the uniforms down to Africa. They're all in the uniforms. I went around to each person and I would fix their uniform in there, and I fix it over. I go, nope, we're not doing these Irish pennants, and they're like, Casper, it doesn't really matter. I go, no,
Wow.
It does. I know exactly what this looks like.
It all matters.
It 100%. I've read back in the day. There used to be comments on IMDb, and there's still comments on all internet and social media. And people are going to find it, even if you're perfect. They're still gonna find something.
No, it's clipped somewhere, yeah.
Oh yeah. So you go through it. So
I have a hard time watching movies like that. Like if I watch a military movie, I'm like picking it apart. That's not in the right spot. That's not in the right spot.
I know this. I know this, and I also get people to come up and tell me still to this day. But I know that I go in with the best intentions and I try. So Starship Troopers 3, I literally went around to everybody's uniform, checked every single person every time I was on set. I wasn't on set every day, but for everything that I was in, I made sure. Now, in between takes, did things fall apart? I'm sure. I couldn't watch everybody. I had a job to do. but I know beforehand, I always go in early, go prepared, and then go around to everybody. Just what I do. Because because of the military, and that's also just because I ain't fucking around with this shit when I'm around these things. This is the real deal. And the military people, they appreciate that, and they come up to me and they even tell me at cons, they go, "I loved your uniform, looked right," and when I get that, or your finger trigger was correct, or your finger trigger was correct for the time. I got one time where it wasn't like that, but one of the military guys came up to me, goes, "Look, you wouldn't have had that finger coordination right then at that time period. You wouldn't." And I was like, "Oh shit, that's gonna be a hard one for me." So that's gonna be a hard one for me. So, but I still have to try to follow what is correct. But I have, I try to listen to all these things and I try to be as authentic as I can. And I know I went on a tangent from hell on this one, so we can get back to any of the questions.
Oh no, it's good, it's good. In
Yeah,
fact,
no worries.
speaking of the military guy that you were that was on set with the first one, it reminded me what you were talking about, how he had you doing this for all the other actors, like you were doing, getting him water, getting him this, getting him that. I think that actually instilled the leadership quality for Starship Troopers 3, that you actually went to the actors on your own instead of having him do it.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Right.
Look, I grew up in, again, Captain Dale Dye was, United States Marine Corps. I think he has 3 or 4 Purple Hearts because he went back to Vietnam 3 or 4 times. And if you get a Purple Heart, it's because, well, he was shot, and he got a
Right.
Purple Heart for each time he was shot. And I said to him literally one day, we're all out there and we're all doing it, and he was talking about, somebody said that, and I go, "Excuse me, sir." He goes, "Captain Dale Dye. I work for a living. Don't call me sir." And I go, "Yes, sir. Captain. How come you didn't learn how to duck?" And the other actors went like this, like, "How dare you?" And I just like, and he's like, "Ha ha ha, fuck you. Yeah, that's a good one." And they're like, "How could you do that?" And I was like, "Well, because if I didn't, I would be fucking, he would have given me hell for not being, because that's a sense of humor. They're really
Oh,
just,
Yeah,
that's jarhead humor right there. I love
well,
it.
100%. And like I said, I grew up with that. My grandfather's Marine, one of the 3 survivors of the battalion, World War I. I'm like, hell, I ain't gonna, I ain't gonna hold back on this one. But I love him, and I love him to death. But grew up in that, so I was that way. I went to military school. I was that way. I was operations officer. I went that way, and then I became an actor. And then they dress you up and you play and you put makeup on you for a living. A lot different. Now I'm in the Pink Pony Club. Here we go.
Pink Pony Posse.
Yeah,
That's
Pink
right.
Pony Posse. Yeah, I'm not in that yet, but I want to be. That's a good one. Where did we do that in Red Dead? I'm just messing around with all of you.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, it's okay. But Damad here is saying his mom always complains when somebody in a Navy uniform walks around a building with the cover still on. You know how many times they try to make you do that in the movies and shows?
Oh.
It drove me nuts. I'm like, I would remove my cover. They're like, "Well, we don't want you because we want you to salute." I go, "I can't. And I can't salute without my cover on." So you see in Starship Troopers, I'll tell you something. I have a regret. I do have a regret of Starship Troopers. I was supposed to salute Clancy Brown back, but I didn't have a cover on. And they wanted me to salute him, and I didn't because I was like, I can't. And they're like, "But he's saluting you." And I go, "I can't do it." And I didn't do it.
Well, there's multiple reasons for that, because in the military, you do not salute while you're in military territory or enemy territory as well.
Even if you've taken over the enemy and you want it to, because there could still be a sniper there.
Exactly. Yes. So there was multiple reasons. That's really that's
That's
a big
it.
detail.
That's 100. So I didn't do it. I didn't do it. All right. And I do regret it though. That's one time I regret that I didn't do it, because it just would have been a good moment to salute him back, even though I wasn't wearing a cover and we were out there. So Captain Dale Dye comes up to me when I'm supposed to salute. He goes, "Don't you salute him." Paul Verhoeven is the director. Now, Captain Dale Dye is a Marine Corps, been shot 4 times. And, my dad's worked with a lot of Marines, and he just told me that. And I listened to him over Paul Verhoeven. Now, nobody knows this. I've never told anybody this in an interview before, but that's the truth. That's why I didn't do it.
Oh, that's good. So speaking of which, the whole becoming an actor deal, Stargazer's Silver Wolf was wondering, when you were younger, did you see yourself becoming an actor?
Who doesn't when they're a kid? When we all are doing play pretend, that's the beauty of children. Children are always out there playing. You go, "You're going to be this, you're going to be that." And we can pretend like we're that. And we have so much fun doing whatever we're doing. We're playing in the games and we're becoming this. And then we grow up, and then people go, "Oh no, now you're this. You can't do that. You're doing this." And then we have to learn not to be, have that childlike innocence, that purity that we try to get as an actor, that authenticity is what they call it in an actor when they're real in it. That's not losing that as a child. Like Pedro Pascal, I think, is one of the greatest actors that we have today, in that he can become these different roles and these personas so easily. And I believe him, and every time he's doing it, that's a childlike innocent. And you can see who he is in real life, how he is as a child almost. And I don't know him personally. I've never met him. I haven't had the honor or the privilege, but I just think he's phenomenal. There's quite a few actors I admire and look up to. He's one of them. And I look at that. So I think as a child, I wanted to, I believe that, but I really thought I was going to go in the military, and I thought I was going to become a doctor. That's what I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to take military scholarships, pay to become a doctor, and become wealthy. I thought that's what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be, a rich doctor. I wanted to help people heal because I like that. I like dealing with people, but I thought I'd become super successful in that. I thought I'd be motivated. I'd always try to do the best I'd ever do at everything. I'm always right, trying to put everything I can into it. I have a lot of fun and intensity. I don't like to quit, and I like to work really hard at something. So I thought I'd become a doctor. And my mom's dad was a medical corpsman. I never got to meet him. He died when she was 18 in the Navy, and he was a medical corpsman, enlisted, and was making a lot of money. Then he became an officer, but he was making more money enlisted, so he went back to being enlisted. It's just because he made a higher pay grade as an enlisted officer than he did as a new officer at the same job as being a medical corpsman. But he died when he was 52, I think. To put his head down at a bar after coming back, and never woke back up. That's why I don't drink too, because I think I have that alcoholism in my family, maybe from through that or whatever it is. But I'm not a good drinker. Blackout drunk, so I quit a long time ago. But yeah, there we go. I don't know why I went on
Hell
that.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay. Cool. So we got another one on Twitch again from It's Kanko, who's just firing them off left and right here. We got so what was the audition process like for you? Can you go through that with us a little
Oh,
bit?
I sure can. Now we got Spartan John here, 11 saying same Rob, but he did it with one B. Now I'm Casper Robert Van Dien Jr. My dad's Casper Robert Van Dien Sr. And I was Rob to a lot of my friends growing up. They did, and when people would call me Casper, like the teachers would come in and they go Casper, I'd always be like, it's Rob, because my grandpa was Casper to me. And when I was 20, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go by Casper. I'm tired of going Casper Robert, but you can call me Rob. And then I was just like, it's just Casper. I'm just going by Casper. So I don't know who Spartan is. 9 or 10 years old at a friend's house, never looked back. I watched it at first at 9 or 10. Same Rob. There we go. So anyhow, I don't know if I knew you, but if I did, it was with two B's anyhow. Just let you know. I always have to do that. My mom didn't want me to be like Rob like a thief. Now the question was, what was the question? Because I'm so ADD.
Oh, what was the audition process like?
Oh,
Can you run us through it?
yes, I got a call from my agent saying you got you an audition for Starship Troopers. So I went in, I did okay. I got a call back. I went to the callback. I'm sitting down in the office, and the office is there's 4 or 5 chairs this way and a couple over there, and then there's the offices over here to the right of me, and I'm sitting down in this chair, and there's office right over right to me, and there's another one over there, and this guy Ed comes out and looks at me and goes like this, and so I go over to him and I go into his office, and it's the writer, the producer, and then the director down at the end. And I go in and I talk to him, and he's got a musket from 2000 from the First World War. And I asked him if I could pick it up, and he goes, "Yeah." And I did a couple drills with it because I was on the drill team in military school, and I had to handle a couple of those. Did marching exercise, did a couple things. Oh yeah, I fired one of these before. I forget what it was. I can't remember. I used to know a lot more about guns. I don't know so much about them anymore. It's used to be a thing that was interesting to me. It is in the games. It's fun for me. I'm not a gun person like I was when I was younger. I'm just not, I still respect them. I still love them. I'm just not I don't remember all that anymore. My memory is filled up with words for learning scripts and stuff now. So it's a different thing. I probably could if I really thought about it. But anyhow, so I did a couple things like that. We talked about military school. And he's like, "Oh, nice talk to you. Nice to you." Because I wrote the script. I go, "Oh, wow, it's a good script." I go, "It's a little different than the book." And he's like, "Really?" So I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I already did my homework. I like to go prepared. So I go back and I sit down, and Paul Verhoeven comes out of his office down at the end, and he has this little soccer ball, and he does a little look, and he drops the ball and looks at me and kicks it at me. I stop it with my foot, and I get up and I kick it back. He goes, "No, harder!" And he kicks it at me really hard. And I stop it and I kick it even harder at him. We go back and forth, and then I kick it so hard. He goes, "Harder!" And I kick it so hard, and it goes right. Alan Marshall, he's a big producer, starts walking out, and the ball just misses his nose by like this much, and puts a dent in the cabinet right by his face. And he just looks over at me, like, and then over at Paul, and then goes back into his office. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And then Paul goes,
Yeah,
great,
sure.
let's do the audition now. And I was like,
Oh, God.
oh, what the fuck? So I go in and do my audition, and I felt bad for the other actors because of all that going on right there, because that's kind of like, I'm connecting with everybody there, and that doesn't usually happen. And I felt like I got the job. Then Sony had said to Paul in his contract that he had to, by contract, do a couple of screen tests. They had to give them a couple of screen tests. What a screen test is, you're screen testing against other actors for your role. So
chemistry and such.
contract literally says a couple of them. Okay, so a couple is two, right? So they have to give them two options. So I show up in the day when they want a screen test because they're looking for a star name. They want a star name. I'm nobody at this time. I'm nobody at all. Nothing. I'm not a, they want like Matt Damon, Tom Cruise. They want to, I mean, they literally, these are some of the names they were talking about. And so I go into the day where I'm screen testing. I'm like, holy shit, I got to know my shit. I'm so nervous. I get in there and it's just me and Denise Richards there. I'm like, oh, are we the only two screen testing today? And he's like, you're the only two screen testing.
Oh, wow.
Because it's a couple.
Mm-hmm.
So he literally said, I'm doing two screen tests, the two people he wanted.
Oh, wow.
So the contracts have changed since then, but they literally have to be more literal and precise because he was completely literal and he got away with it. He was forced to do a screen test to give them a couple, and he literally gave them Carmen and Rico, and those were the only choices they had. So they could have either picked Carmen and Rico or Carmen and Rico, and we were Carmen and Rico, and that's it. That was the process.
Wow, that's and they picked the two main, like I guess for chemistry purposes, I assume.
I
Just
don't
to give
know.
them the
No. Dina was probably picked before us, and Michael Ironside, I think, might have been picked before us. At one point in time, I think it was Rutger Hauer they were going to go for Michael Ironside's character. But
oh, interesting.
yeah, because Paul has done a lot of movies with Rutger Hauer. In fact, he's the one that gave Rutger Hauer his career. So,
Wow.
but that's
Um,
but it went to
that's
Michael Ironside, so it didn't. He went with who he wanted. Paul is somebody who does or did what he wanted to, and kind of a reason he sort of got chased out of Hollywood because he's a maverick.
yeah
He's not like,
goes against the grain.
yeah, they want him to be a certain way, and he feels beholden to no one but himself and what he believes is the right thing to do, even if it's success. Like, the movie would have probably doubled its income if it had been PG-13 the first weekend. Doubled. So instead of 25 million, it would have been 50 million. It would have been a whole different ball game.
Yeah, I mean,
But Paul
but it
wouldn't have
wouldn't
done it.
it wouldn't be what it is today, though.
I don't think it would have the cult following it has now. Yeah.
And that's only a minute and 22 seconds, brothers.
So, speaking with becoming an actor, Tyler Menino was asking, do you have any advice for aspiring actors on how to break out into the industry?
What's this guy's name?
Yeah.
His name is Tyler Menino.
Tyler
I also
Menino.
had one from Mercader who said pretty much the same thing. What would be the best piece of advice for acting you'd give someone for just starting out?
Well, there's a lot of different things that would happen. It depends on the time period of what we're doing. But I'd say in present day, today time, I would say that you're a salesman as an actor. You have one product alone, and you have to be the best presentation of this product. Be real. Don't try to be something you're not. Try to be as authentic as you can. When you get the roles that people want you to do, try to do the best job you can in that role and get to the place where you want. There, you can explore it first. I'm just saying it first, so you can, if they go, I really see you as this, you go, hey, yeah, let's try this, and just try to work on it with what you can. If people are seeing you as something, try to do that, and try to learn as much as you can about being on set and camera. Theater and camera are a lot different. There's a precision that they see with you on camera when you're this focused on you. They see this. So the expressions and the visuals of what you're doing and what you're trying to connect to and be seen on are going to be a lot different than when you're on stage and performing and all over the place. Like I'm in general, anyhow. But it depends on what the lens is, what the camera is. So you have to have somewhat of an understanding of that, but throw that all out the window when you get in there and just be as authentic as you can and real. I would study, I would learn. This is me. I don't know for you what's going to work because everybody's different and everybody's unique, but I would study and learn. I'd watch movies, read books, go to acting classes, watch people, discover what you can do, practice, rehearse, try 10,000 different ways. I read everything over and over again. I know people say throw out big numbers like 10,000 different ways, but I'm talking, I've done this for 38 years. So I do it many different ways. I'll do it with different accents. I study different accents. I study different things. I'll say different things in what I think would be a different dialect. I'll say it really loud, really soft. I'll do it really angry. I'll do it really mean. I'll do it flamboyant. I'll do it strong. I'll do whatever it is that I'm doing. Just feeling it out. Practice within yourself till you get the experience of what you know is going to feel right for the character. And I think it's finding that authenticity in the character that's the authenticity in you that works. Sometimes it's hard to find that in yourself. But
Oh, yeah.
knowing
Big down
yourself,
to be yourself.
yeah. And it's hard to be yourself. Sometimes it's hard to find the authenticity, the realness, because sometimes it's hard and scary to look at yourself that way.
Hmm.
But I would do the work for that, and then I would, if you really want to be an actor, and I think this goes for anything that you want to be in your life, I would say make that your main focus, and then really put the effort into doing it, not just talking about it. Put in put in the work. It is work. This is a job, and I do take it
Oh, for
serious.
sure.
I always show up prepared. I've never showed up even when I drank. I would never drink when I was going to do it because I knew I had to be a top because there's always somebody else fighting for it. There's always somebody fighting for a job. They're always looking for somebody that's going to do the best work, hardest work, or best job presentation for you in anything you're going to do in life. And every job we do is an experience that you can use as an actor. I've been a
Oh,
bartender. I've
yeah.
been a security guard. I've washed bathrooms. I've been a runner, a gopher. I boat maintenance, sailing instructor, lifeguard instructor. I worked for the Red Cross. I taught CPR, infants, I taught first aid and infant CPR and CPR and for the Red
Cool.
Cross back in the day. I mean, I just did a lot of different things. You see, they say jack of all trades, master of none. I think you try to master as many of the trades as you can to the best of your ability. I ride horses. I
100%.
play trumpets. I do everything I can. Can you do this? Well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. I'll try everything. I mean, I dive with sharks. I used to dive a lot with sharks. I haven't dove. Well, my wife and I did for our honeymoon, but aside from that,
Yes,
7 years ago.
and
Yeah, yes,
I'll
and a
tell you,
lot of
yeah.
yes and a lot of yes ands. So just try to do the best you can. And I mean, it's a tough business, but I mean, and it's getting harder. It's changing a lot because now there's all the new things that are happening with AI and with the new medias, and so work is changing and shifting a lot. So a lot of younger actors might know new things that are coming with it, but I really think that an experience getting on set and being around it, because there's a lot of times when people will come to a set and they're like, God, it's got to be so romantic being an actor, and they get onto a set, and I can tell the people that have the sickness. What I mean, the sickness is the acting bug or whatever, because a lot of people come in and they'll be like, man, this is great, and after an hour I'll be like, wow, this has been really cool, man. Thank you so much. And I can tell here and there that this is just not for them because it can be boring for people because we work,
Hmm.
sometimes 20-hour days, sometimes 18-hour days, sometimes 6 days a week, and then we have to go back and study our lines and learn and be prepared. And it's never under a 12-hour day, never under a 12-hour day, usually 14-hour days. And that's just when you're on set usually. Starship Troopers, it was never under a 14-hour day for me. And then it would be an hour to set, an hour back from set. I had to work out 2 hours a day for it, and I had to study my lines for every one that I did it.
Mm.
It doesn't
Oh,
give
well,
you much time.
that does make sense though. When you say when you have that giant list of things that you've done throughout life, that helps you find what you were interested in and basically helps you find your inner you.
No,
And
yeah, and I
speaking
think,
of,
yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
Pyrokai has a perfect question that goes right into that. Like, what was your workout routine or diet like to prepare for the role?
Oh man,
Oh, Mercado TV also asked that.
okay. So
Yeah, he had a very similar question to that. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, my workout routines always change and everything like that, as I think everything does with it, because your body, I think, changes. Right now, I'm working out again. I'm back into I'm in the 15th week of working out with weights again. I've been doing Pilates for the last 2 years. I'm still doing Pilates twice a week, but now I'm doing weights again, and I've been I shifted up. Done a lot of different martial arts, studied a lot of different martial arts, and but I never to be like a great martial artist, not like some of the other actors. I do it just to look good on movies, because that's all I'm about. I just want to look good in movies. But some do it and they look even better in movies because, like, like Keanu Reeves and so
I was about to say, yeah, Keanu
they
Reeves
they,
specifically,
they
he
know
learns
what.
it so that it looks good.
Yeah, but even Ed O'Neill is a
Hmm.
jujitsu, champion. I mean, there's so many people that are incredible martial artists that you wouldn't even know. My friend
Hmm.
Mark Dacascos, he's one of my best friends. He's my Muay Thai and mixed martial arts sensei, and his dad was taught us with knives and stuff. Just to be taught him with knives and me a little bit, gave me a little bit. But I've also worked with, some cool people, Garrett Warren being one of them, and just some incredible people that helped me. But for the movies, Garrett Warren and I would go, and every day before Starship Troopers, so we'd work 6-day weeks for the first 4.5 months, 6-day weeks, never under a 14-hour day on Starship Troopers did I ever work.
Oof.
And the 13 days I had off on that movie, I worked on second unit. So I had not one day off on that movie. We shot it for 7 months.
Oh man,
And the first
he was just full
first
throttle.
4.5 months were 6-day weeks, never under a 14-hour day, and I'd work out, and sometimes there was 18-hour days in there. Okay,
Hmm.
and the turnaround would be crazy. But I also, thank you for Fergus, Fergus, thank you Fergus for the follow. But I would work out with him. We would do an hour of weights. Like on a Monday we do that, and then the next hour we do the either Taibo, at the time it was Taibo, you're doing, or boxing or karate or taekwondo or something, like, some physical form for an hour. So it's always an hour of weights, full hour, always. And I got injured on that all the time. I dislocated my shoulder and we still worked out. So if I couldn't put my arm all the way up, I would do the shoulder press a different way. I'd still work out. I do it just at a different angle, a different level, even with it torn, and I tore my knee, still worked out, did everything around it, still threw kicks, just couldn't throw one for a couple weeks. I couldn't throw it at a certain height. Just did it every day, 6 days a week. 6 days a week I did that. So and I did a very lean diet. Now there's some diets where I've been really lean and I've been protein only and vegetables, and some I've been, and mainly it's diet, by the way. And I cut out the sugar and cut out a lot of the complex carbs. I mean, the rices and the pastas and stuff. But now I'm a vegan, but which is still difficult to do. But high protein intake, and I take protein at different levels. But I've changed it around for
Yeah.
different things. It's always a different thing. I think whatever you're doing that's working for you, where you know what you're doing is best for your body, is what you got to do. But I do weights, and I always do some sort of. I'm always walking my dogs now when it's cooler. I run with them, swimming, yoga, Pilates. If you can fight, fight.
Oh yeah.
For I think that's always a good thing for you because it gives you just a different thing. But there's some kind of strength training. I've done CrossFit. I've done I like physical. I play sports, play basketball, play tennis, play whatever you're doing. You do different things for you. Switch it up so that you keep variety, but keep moving, because a stagnant pond is not something you'd ever drink out of. In your body, if you keep it stagnant and on the couch and everything like that, then you're poisoning yourself. So just keep moving. Even if you sit and play computers, like I play a lot now, I play the computer games and do that. Still get up and move, do something.
You know,
Yeah.
they actually make a small treadmill that you can put with your desk, and you can actually be walking while playing the games.
I should
Yeah,
start
there's
doing
some
that.
streamers out there who
I have one of
work
those.
out and game at the same time.
I should do that. I should do that. I should work out game one day, or I
For
should just
sure.
do a workout stream.
Oh, you
Yeah,
know what?
that'd be awesome.
I've seen some people do workout streams. Those are really good. But we're actually pushing almost to the hour already. I got one final question for you before we wrap this all up.
All right.
And it's from Guitar Man. If they do another Starship Troopers movie with you in it as General Rico, and they decide to kill your character, which bug would you like to kill you, and how?
Well, I mean, that will just go back to one of the games we were playing. I've likened myself. I like literature. I like reading books. I like thinking that. So there's a book called Moby Dick, and there's the white whale. So I think that the tanker is actually the white whale for Rico. And if Rico's ever to lose himself into something, I think the one that took his love, that took Dizzy away from him, and she didn't. It was a warrior that took her out, but it was because of the distraction of the tanker bug. I think the tanker bug would have to be involved with the loss
Oh yeah.
of Rico. Now you might want to say wouldn't be Bay McCoodle, the God bug, or Brain bug because it's outsmarting. I think it has to go back to the nemesis, and I think that the tanker is his nemesis. I think it
Well,
is
yeah.
my white whale. I think I'm Ahab to the tanker. So
You
I
took the
would
tanker, and the tanker took both Dizzy and Rat Check.
yeah, it took Ratchek,
So
and then
so mentor and love.
yeah. So I would think that would be the one that would have to do it if we were to lose Rico.
Yes,
If we were to
I
go,
like
that would
that.
be hard for me. It'd be hard for me to lose that one. And even if I know that they're rewriting or doing whatever they're doing with the new script. I always wanted to do an old man Rico, whether it go back to being a TV series or doing something like that. I always thought it'd be fun to do that. But
Oh, that would be great for a TV series.
I
Just
think it
little
would be.
bits.
Yeah, I think it would be fun to
Oh, that
come
would be
back and be
amazing.
in there. I almost had it up with Robert Rodriguez. We almost had it up years ago. He was going to do it. He was so into it. He was going to. We're doing Old Man Rico. That's what we're doing. That's kind of why I got it in my head. He's the one that threw it out at me, slapped me with that so hard that it stuck. And I want to do I want to do that one so bad. But then they had a changing of the guard over at Sony. Sony called me up and they said, "Hey, do you think if we're very interested in doing a series? Do you think because I had just done Alita Battle Angel with Robert Rodriguez, do you think he'd want to do because we heard in an interview that he talked to you about Starship Troopers the whole time. Do you think he'd be interested in doing it?" I said, I could ask him. I have no problem asking anybody anything because the worst they can do is say no. I'm sure there's other things they can do or worse, but in my opinion, that's really the worst thing could be is a no. And the best thing is they said, yeah. So I said it to him. He goes, hell yeah, let's do it. He goes, I want to get Ed involved. Can we get him on the phone? Let's start talking. You, me, and Ed. So we had 7 Skype calls with Robert Rodriguez. All he did is all just talking to me about it. That's how excited he was. He's so cool. And then Sony, he's like, hey, I'm ready to go in. Do you think Sony wants to do it right now? And they had just called me up when I had messaged him, and I go, they just had a changing of the guard. They want to put it on hold. And he goes, oh.
Oh
And I was like,
man.
you know how hard that was for me to say that to Robert Rodriguez, to say one of the greatest directors we have right now. And then later I called him up. Sony called me a year later and they said, hey, they want to revisit it. And I go, guys, I heard the O in him. I'll call him and ask him. Like I said, I've always asked. And he goes, Casper, I would love to, man, but I'm tied in with, Book of Boba Fett. And I'm like, I'm under contract right now. I go, got it. Understood. 100%.
Yep.
It's always about timing in the end. It's always
Yeah,
about
yeah.
timing.
And they had him. They had him. They had him. He was gonna do, and you know how cool that would have been. Ah, and I got to tell you, he wanted Ed Newmeyer involved with it. He wanted the writing of it. He wanted that sense of humor. He wanted that. He wanted Paul to be involved with it. He wanted to
would've
talk to
been perfect.
Verhoeven.
What?
All of this.
Oh.
He was like, I mean, he was so excited. He loved it. I mean, he's a great filmmaker, and he understood he understands what it was, and I just think that was awesome. So somebody like that with that kind of vision, that kind of insight, that kind of love for it, you're going to get somebody that's going to try to do it justice the way it deserves,
for sure.
a fair shake at it, because he really was, not just that he's a great director, but he really understood it and really talked to me about it and would go to, this is why I think it's a great movie. Like on the set of Alita Battle Angel, all he wanted to do was talk about Starship Troopers. I'm in a scene with Christoph Waltz, fucking Christoph Waltz, and he's like, "So Casper, I want to tell you, I'm only, I got this, when I'm writing my movies or I'm editing, I have like you have people have music playlists. I have like this movie playlist, like 150 different movies in the background. And what I do is I turn the music down really slow so you barely hear it. I turn on a little Rolling Thunder so I can just concentrate on my thing. But there's 3 movies that whenever they come on, I just have to turn down the thunder, turn it off, and crank up the movie. I can't tell you how many times I watch Starship Troopers a month.
Oh yeah,
And I'm like,
it's definitely a movie you got to watch multiple times.
I go,
Just
wow.
because.
And then I go to see his photographer for all the photo shoots that I have to do, all the 3D printing, and his photographer's name is Rico. And I go, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I go to Rico, I go, you gotta be fucking kidding me. He goes, no. He goes, did he tell you how many times we watch Starship Troopers a month? And I go, literally, he just told me
That's amazing.
that exactly that you just said. And he was in a different room at a different thing. And he could have called him like, hey, tell him this. But I seriously doubt Robert Rodriguez did that. It was just a fucking cool experience for me because I was just there like, I'm just a nerd and you guys have me here. I'm like,
And we're all super fans. We're all super fans of this movie. That
Yeah.
brought us all here together.
yeah, well, it's a great community. I love and anybody that's new to the Discord, I love this Discord and this and our Twitch and our gaming. We try different games. We're playing it. So if you haven't come play with us. Everybody here is really awesome. A lot of military people, but also other people. We're all accepting of everybody. Everybody's included. We're not closed up to anything. We're just open minded and just here to have fellowship and enjoy each other. There's nothing here that is like. Angry, mean, cruel, political, or any of the vitriol that is, not about, anything
Exactly.
other than
No one
just
left behind. We'll teach you
yeah,
where we go.
yeah. It's just fun. It's just fun. So if you haven't, and you want to, and I just talk about movies and I talk about Starship and things like that. And I'm a bit of a nerd, but also everybody in here is really awesome. So thank you guys for creating this. This is a great idea. I loved it. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys did too.
Hell yeah, hell yeah!
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
this was a
Thanks again.
success. It was a great, and I hope to see more of this in the future.
Me too. Hey, Guitar Man just gifted some subs. So he liked it that much. He gifted 5
Let's
subs to
go.
the sub. Thank you so much. That's what I appreciate. That's what I love. Thank you so much. This is the kind of community we have. We have like this, that everybody does this all the time. Like Huda's done it a lot. I mean, Corporal Cash. I mean, everybody's donated things and gifted to the subs. They try to get more people into the community. So all what they're doing by that is just trying to get more people in here because we have a lot of fun together. So if you haven't come in, if you haven't been able to, come in and see this, we do have a lot of fun. We play, and also when we're playing the games, people step out to help, let you get in here and play. So like if you don't get into the queue, if you don't get in the queue and you're not playing with us, somebody will get, hey, Demad, thanks for the cheer. Look at that. Somebody will, this played before, always steps out and does it. So you will find people that do that. I know right now afterwards they're gonna go and watch Starship Troopers together, so they're doing that. Yeah, that's it. Look,
That's what they told me.
Holy shit! That's
Whoa, Huda.
all right. That's what I thought. Okay, see, there we go. That's Tuda. That's what he does. He does this. He goes into 50, and now we have to give away a game, or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5,
50.
because now Huda just did that. So we're about.
Legendary.
You guys can watch. Yes, 50. I cannot believe he just did that. Huda, you're amazing. Guitar Man, you're amazing. Sergeant Viper, and Cheechbongered, you're amazing. Corporal Cash, Xena, everybody, all my mods in here that are doing this, that are in there supporting and doing this. Thank you guys so much, and all my community, Nat, and all, which is Robbie Keenan, all of you people coming in here and doing this. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. Look at Crazed Hunters even in here. We're trying to get him to come play Starship with us. He comes in and snipes in Hell in Red Dead Redemption
Red
with
Dead.
us, but we need snipers too. He doesn't know he's a damn good sniper. He should come in and snipe for us. We got some
Let's say
good
between him
snipers.
and Pitbull, put them on the tower.
Yeah,
Man.
with Xena in there
Yeah.
and Sass, Blackjack Sass. We'd have like sniper heaven. We'd be like, and we got
Get in there, crazed.
Yeah, we need that. Yeah, we got a lot of those. We got everybody's coming in. Huda, thank you so much. Wow, what a way to end the thing. See, this is the community we have. It's awesome, guys. Please come in and play with us. I think there was a thing in an article in Hustler. I never got to see it. And I've mentioned this in a long time, but I think I saw it was either like in Hustler or Playboy. Somebody showed me an article that came out, and I never saw the whole article, but or it was an ad, a fake ad of it, and they called it Starship Troopers, and they had pictures of
Wow.
some guys in trooper uniforms with guns with poops on their
No.
bayonets. I swear to God, I think
Lord.
I haven't.
Oh
I
no.
yeah. So somebody, if they ever find that, I'd love to see that picture again. That pretty shitty. Weird porn. Yeah, weird. And they were making a joke about it. They were calling it Starship Poopers.
Oh, but it's a cult classic and a legend. That's why people like you can make fun of it and enjoy it at the same time.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I kind of think that's how the movie was made, to
Yeah,
look at it in a satirical way and enjoy it.
somebody said that somebody made the student film. They made they were somebody was at a con, the class where they made it, that they were making a mockery of Starship Troopers in their student film, and I go, that's what Starship Troopers is.
It's literally a mockery.
So congratulations, they got it better than you did, and you were in the movie with them. I'm not going to say who it was, but I was just like, they're like, you can't support what they did because they were making a mockery of it. I go, I totally support that. Good for them. I think that's
I think
awesome.
Starship Troopers was one of the first mockumentaries.
It could have been. It could have been one of the first ones. There's a lot of them, mockumentaries. All right, guys, enjoy. You guys know what to do. Service guarantees citizenship. Welcome to the Roughnecks.
Hooah!